What is up, guys? So I thought I'd do something a little bit different here today. Look at this guy parked, man, all over the line. Thankfully, I got this little bike here. Oh, man. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Thinking about starting a sub-series, basically to put technical stuff into historical context, right? Because that's not something you really get from school or anything. They don't have time to teach you all that. And this kind of came about when I was talking to one of my friends, and she was going on about something, and it was just clear she didn't really understand the context of all the technical stuff. So to help you guys avoid that type of embarrassment in the future, let's talk about some things. So first of all, get going here. First of all, anything that I say, I could say a lot of incorrect stuff, so be aware of that. Use your own judgment, do your own research. As always, that's the best policy. But what I want to talk about today, oh man, this road is it's pretty freaking wet here. But what I wanted to talk about today is the subject of engines, right? So a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, that's pretty boring. But actually, if you put it into context, it's quite an amazing kind of journey for engines. Thank you for that guy letting me out. So first of all, the word engine itself, it comes from Old Middle English, the word ingenuity, actually. It also has roots in Latin, of course. But the original intention was an engine is something that's the product of genius, right? And that's a great basis for the context of this video. It is really a work of genius. There are just so many different types of engines out there. You have the heat engines, which include typically the gasoline engines, the diesel and jet types of engines, right? When you have the electric motors, you have fuel cells, stuff like that. And technically, an engine is anything that really translates one type of power into another, right? So that does also include solar cells. It includes things like wind turbines, hydroelectric power, and stuff like that. So already, you guys can see there's such a variety of it. You know, where does it all come from and why? So, of course, a lot of you guys might be thinking, and pretty much rightfully so, that engines really came about because of a need to replace the animal-driven types of transportation and work that was being done, right? So both with horses out on the range or various different farm animals helping out, plowing and all that fun stuff. Pretty much, again, given the context of the early engines, you know, one of the first major breakouts in the Industrial Revolution was the steam engine, right? That's the stereotypical type of heat engine. And, whoa, what happened here? Some guy got a little bit too tired of waiting here and just decided to hop the median. Oh, there you go. Engines get you places. By the time the external combustion engine rolled around, people, well, mostly wealthy people, let's be honest, but people were thinking to themselves, why keep all these horses around, right? We're basically, from an energy flow perspective, feeding it all the time and only using it for its transportation purposes a fraction of that time. So it's kind of analogous to an engine that's just always idling, right? You're always using up some of that energy just to keep the horse alive. You juxtapose that with the external combustion engine, which, you know, it's there when you need it. You can turn it off when you don't. It's powered by something that's plentiful, at least at the time, right? So for a lot of people, it was a no-brainer, pretty much. So when the steam engine kind of became ultra popular, and by virtue of that also the external combustion engine, right, became extra popular during that Industrial Revolution period, a lot of people were thinking to themselves, wow, what an ingenious invention, right? Why haven't we thought of this stuff before? And the fact of the matter is, this technology has been around since pretty much the is using one area of hotter temperature to do work by cooling it down to an area of lower temperature, right? So you have two heat exchange steps and then an expansion and compression step, right? So that's basically all a heat engine is. And actually, the best example, it occurs in nature too. And of course, you know, we always hear the theme that humans really model our technology off of nature, and that it's true. Why not? Nature is, you know, it's tried and true for millions upon millions of years, right? Billions of years. And so the natural example of a heat engine would just be a hurricane, and you can imagine the raw amount of power a hurricane produces mechanically, pretty much just from a hot and cold temperature reservoir and some interflowing air currents, you know, stuff like that. So in reality, the engine, like pretty much every other invention, came about either by accident or through the constant evolution of science and technology by a large group of people throughout that history in order to serve or benefit the greater public, right? And while in our current day and age, especially with the rising gas prices and stuff, we can definitely bemoan the Industrial Revolution guys, why they chose dead dinosaurs. Of course, we're not too happy about that now, but again, in the context of what was going on before, I think we can understand and definitely thank them for their contribution, right? As I'm out here enjoying this very wet and cold day on my motorcycle, I do have to thank them for putting those things together, and definitely look to the future in terms of new technologies that will improve our ability to go farther, faster, and in all cases better than before. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Let me know what you guys think about this little sub-series if you thought it was interesting, and stay tuned for future videos.